McLaren Trophy back in action after a lengthy break. A triple header the last time out at Circuit of the Americas after race 2 at Sonoma had to be postponed. But here we are at Virginia International Raceway, about ready to go once again in this debut season for a brand new championship. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Marine. Tom Baker will be along here in a matter of moments, and Amanda Busick is down on the grid with us once again as this beautiful field of cars gets ready to go here and for the very first time test itself around one of the iconic circuits in North America, Virginia International Raceway. It is hot, it is humid, but for now at least, the rain has stayed clear of Southern Virginia. We're right across the border from North Carolina, and it is a hot and humid day for sure, but the threat of rain does hover all around us. That's the storyline throughout the course of this weekend, in fact, because quite a bit of track time across multiple SRO America series was lost due to rain, but not just the rain, lightning in the area throughout the course of the last couple of days, testing and official practice sessions. As you see those conditions, 87 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale, and track temperatures treacherous all the way up into the triple digits, and they've been there for several hours. Let's hear from some of the protagonists now with Amanda.
Hey Ryan, and this is race number 5 of this 10-race season as these drivers settle in to the first season of McLaren Trophy here in the SRO paddock. And Tommy, what a great weekend you've had so far. What's it like having this McLaren around a track like VIR?
Well, this is amazing. This track is super quick, and the handling of these cars is just amazing. Going through the lower S's to up the S's in Southman, you're going at such high speeds. It's quite a technical track, but I really enjoy it. And being the first time racing here, I think it's a good outcome for it.
Now we have you here this weekend, but last weekend was pretty epic for you. What were you up to?
Well, so it was my first time at Goodwood Festival of Speed. We were going up the hill with McLaren, and it was such an incredible experience to be able to be with the greatest drivers and with the best cars ever made, and just being able to be around all of that and just go up the hill and have a fun time. So yeah, pretty awesome.
You and Cooper still looking for that first win on this season. How close are you?
Well, you never know in racing. That's why you say never say never. We did pole position. We're gonna try our best this time. We were close in Kota and in Sonoma, so let's try together.
Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they have been close on a number of occasions. He and Cooper Brohl, 4 podiums through 4 races, including 3 runner-up results. But what a cool opportunity to be a part of an iconic event like the Goodwood Festival of Speed, representing McLaren. And Tommy, as such a great brand ambassador, Tom, dating back to his time when he won the inaugural McLaren Trophy Championship of the European Championship back in 2023.
Exactly. It's great to see, great to be back as well.
Yes, welcome.
Great to see Tommy coming through with us, really. It's having won in 2023, as you say, with Gonzalo de Andres. He stayed within the family. He became a McLaren graduate driver, which is the first step on our factory driver program. And great to see him at Goodwood with the automotive side of the business and running the car up the hill. He had a massive smile on his face most days, in fact every day. And yeah, it's just wonderful to be able to take these drivers on a progression with us.
And he still has a big smile on his face, as we could see moments ago when he was chatting with our Amanda. Now, the man who's been on a hot streak in the AM class is James Safronis, and Amanda has caught up with him.
And starting on the second row, actually next to Colin Harrison, who was trying to chase him in those AM points. And James, 3 wins on the season. How will your experience play to Virginia International Raceway, though?
Well, we haven't raced in these kind of temps all year, so it's definitely going to be about managing the car, the tire, the driver. I mean, we're solo, Colin and I, so I'm on scrub tires. I don't have a chill out, so I'm not sure if I'm trying to press my son. But I'll definitely need a cold towel and a cold shower after this race, But I want to say shout out to JCD. He took a big one yesterday. The McLaren is built like a tank, and he's doing really well. So we're thinking about you, bud. So miss you.
Thank you, James, and appreciate that update. Ryan, I'm going to walk over to Colin Harrison as well, who will start on the outside of James Safronis in turn 1. And I'm sure you've thought about turn 1 all day long, Colin. What's the plan?
Well, the pedal, like the brake pedal, is going to be pretty important there, making sure that we all get through it safely. And I don't know. I mean, as long as we get a clean start, I mean, I think it's going to be a good race. We seemed really close in qualifying. So, I mean, hopefully get some good action for all the people watching and make it look fun for everyone here.
This has been a great season for you. Picked up a win earlier in the year. Do you think about points? Are those on your mind?
I mean, yeah, it's a little bit too early in the year to tell. But, I mean, they're definitely, I don't forget about them. I'll put it like that. But, yeah, I mean, it's going really good. I'm happy with the consistency and the progress we made with the car and as a team. So it's been really, really good.
James Sofronis is a guy that we know from the paddock, and I'm sure you've thought about racing him. How does his experience help you?
Gotta be honest, I haven't given that too much thought, but I mean, racing with anyone, any good competitor, I mean, I think, good competition, lifts everyone up. So I think, I think it's been good for everyone. I mean, I think having close, tough, hard battle is good for everyone involved.
Good luck today, Colin. We'll have eyes on turn 1 with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He brings up a good point. It's a great measuring stick to have a veteran the caliber of James Sofronis, who's been in this game a couple of decades now, probably about as long as Colin's been alive, to be honest, although James probably wouldn't like me saying that. But that does help a young driver in their progression. And we should go back to something that James alluded to there when he gave the shout-out to JCD, John Capestro-Dubets, who should have been in this race, but he and George Lawrence had a pretty big coming together in a practice session yesterday. We're happy to report everybody involved seems to be doing relatively well, but it was a big one, and it is a testament, as James alluded to the safety in these cars. McLaren builds a really good, fast, but most importantly, safe race car.
Exactly. It was really pleasing to hear what James had to say then. We might start referring to it as a tank in the marketing literature as well. But yeah, no, it was a big one for both of them, but really pleased that they both got out of the car. They went to the medical centre for checkups, but everyone is on their way home for a hopefully relaxing weekend, and we look forward to seeing them back in the paddock very soon. Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Leaves us with a slightly diminished grid, but again, most important thing is both drivers as well as a corner worker who had to be really quick, head on a swivel to avoid the car coming that direction. Everybody seems to be doing all right, and yeah, hopefully a quick recovery for all involved. It still leaves us with a lot to be excited about, though, here this weekend. I think we got a little look a moment ago at Eric Filgaris as he was limbering up. Tom Kopczynski, his co-driver, and Eric is now standing by with our Amanda Busick.
Yeah, we can see Tom getting suited up right now to get ready in that McLaren. You guys have seen a podium this season. How's it coming together with you guys as a duo?
Yeah, really well. We've worked together now for about 5 years with as a coach and a student in other series, and now we're teaming up. Really excited. Riley Motorsports has given us a great car. These McLaren Trophy cars are so much fun. Just real quick, want to take a moment to give a shout out to JCD, George Lawrence, and the corner marshal that was affected in yesterday's crash. Really scary. It's a big reminder of what could happen in motorsports, but it's also nice for the whole community to come together and try to make sure that we can help out when we can and take care of each other. So excited for today's race. It's going to be hot. It's VIR in July. It's expected, but looking forward to it.
It's undoubtedly a tight-knit community. One of the things that I love about this series, I look around at all the different liveries, and I love the Lightning McQueen as well, but I think you guys are up there for one of the best liveries on track. Tell me about Pils Mafia.
Yeah, thank you. Pils Mafia is a signature beer from Thin Man Brewery, which Tom Kopczynski is a majority owner of, and we're just having fun with it. We've got all sorts of stuff all over the car, all over the suit. I got a guy who's jumping on a folding table, which is like a Buffalo Bills signature thing, so we're having a ton of fun with it. We're really enjoying the car and the series, and looking forward to a great race today.
So what you're telling me is I just need to get a folding table to the podium. Shall you guys find the top step?
That would be the real celebration.
Okay. We'll see what we can do, Eric.
Thank you.
Good luck today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
For those missing the reference, the Bills of the NFL are their fans are quite passionate. They're known as the Bills Mafia. So Pils Mafia is a play on words there. Pilsner beer, I assume, the variety there. And their fans are known for jumping on folding tables. So therein lies the joke, which is, I'm sure, hilarious now that I've explained it to everybody. No way to make a joke funnier than to have all the nuances explained to you. But it's a fun-loving group. Actually, helping to run that operation is Jared Andretti, who used to race in this paddock in a McLaren, interestingly enough. And always great to catch up with Jared from time to time, as he is still involved in motorsports in a couple of different capacities. And again, for Eric to give the shout out to everybody involved, but especially to JCD, with whom he won a GT4 America championship a year ago. I know those two are really tight, and it goes to show just how close this community is.
Exactly. Where it's you know, the McLaren Trophy paddock has really grown. It's only our first year, but there's a great atmosphere within the paddock. Everyone's very positive about it, and here to have a great time and enjoy some close racing, which I look forward to in this race. We've had some great races so far, so we'll continue.
Loved hearing from Tommy Pintos, his first time here to VIR, talking about just how cool this place is, what the experience is like behind the wheel. Tom, have you been to VIR before?
This is a first. It's a first for many of us. We're having a heat wave in the UK, so we were kind of almost prepared, but not when we got here. I've never had my eyeballs sweating before, which I'm fairly certain is what's going on right now. So, but it's a fantastic place. It's such a beautiful state. You know, the track is incredible, and yeah, we're all looking forward to a fantastic race.
And it's a great place as well to showcase this McLaren Artura Trophy Evo. What a race car! We've had cause to talk about it a few times throughout the course of the season, but putting out roughly 577 horsepower before push-to-pass gets factored in. That gives it a boost up over 600 horsepower and makes some decent aero, lots of grip. Around a place like this, plenty of high-speed corners, it really showcases the strengths of this machine.
Exactly. A lot of the drivers have said it's such a fun car to drive around here. You know, it's such a fast-flowing circuit, this one, and it really suits the characteristics of the Trophy Evo. You mentioned the push-to-pass. We'll probably mention it as the race gets on, but you know when they're using the push-to-pass because the two LED lights on the front flash. But just watching out on track during the practice sessions, they were, you know, coming out the last corner, bang, they were on it to try and get that little bit of push out onto the front straight. So it's always interesting to see how they choose to deploy that, whether it's in attack or defense, and you know, how much do they use at the beginning of the race and what do they keep in reserve for the rest. So
it's something that teams and drivers alike, most of them are using for the first time. It's pretty uncommon. This is really a first in GT style racing to have that at your disposal. And so I think early in the season you talked to the teams and they weren't quite sure what the best practice was going to be. That's made it fun as they're all figuring it out in real time. Big thanks to Amanda Busick for going above and beyond to give us a sense of the atmosphere down on the grid. The engines start to roar to life, and that means we're about to send the cars out on the formation lap around this wonderful Virginia International Raceway circuit. It is really unlike just about anything else. So old school. First opened in 1957. And ran for a good couple of decades before it closed its doors in 1974. And this land actually reverted back to farmland for a good quarter of a century at that point before it was salvaged in March of 2000 by Harvey Siegel and Connie Nyholm, who had fond memories of the place in days gone by and sought to revive it, and they have done so in just the most tremendous way. This place, every time we turn up, something is new, something is improved from the last time that we were here. And my favorite part about it is they went and found the original layout of the track and recreated it to the millimeter to make sure it retained all of the challenge and all of the mystique of the original. And thank goodness, long may it be so. This is one of the classics.
Oh wow, so the track was actually ripped up for farmland and then they relayed it.
Yeah, precisely. Amazing. Basically reclaimed by nature in the intervening 20 odd years in between racing, but it's back and it's better than ever. First race ever held here, by the way, was won by Carroll Shelby, giving you some idea of the kind of heavy hitters that have raced here from the very earliest days. Here's the starting grid. Tommy Pintos took pole position by over a second over Casey Dennis. Then starting in the next row is James Sopronis along with Colin Harrison. A couple of AM-class entries. In the Pro-Am ranks, pole sitter is John Dempsey. He'll line up in 5th overall. Alexandra Hayner, what a season she's had, will start in 6th. Then it's Tom Kopczynski starting in the 7th position. Steve Sorbero will line up 8th. Back to row number 5, and Dennis Tillman will start in the 9th position next to Brandon Kreutz for Flying Lizard Motorsports. That rounds out the top 10. Bob Stockard running solo here this weekend. We'll have Neil Langberg for company, and then the two cars that will not take the start after the practice crash yesterday, George Lawrence and JCD, John Capestro-Dubets. Speedy recovery to you both. Hope to see you at the next round of the championship at Road America, which is not too terribly far away. Lights are off on the safety car, so we're about to turn these cars loose, 11 in all, set to take the green flag. It would appear maybe it's 12, actually. And Tommy Pintos looking for that first win. It's a bit surprising it's taken this long, but they've been really, really close. Could this be the day?
Well, fingers crossed for them both. Yeah, they're both giving it a great go, and Tommy's got a huge amount of experience in these cars, but Cooper's relatively new, so let's see how they get on.
We're about to find out. Alongside in the Lightning McLaren liveried machine, that is Casey Dennis. RWE Motorsport has had a tremendous season to this point. Casey and James Lee, certainly a pairing to watch. Then it's James Safronis, points leader in the AM class and winner of 3 straight in class. That means he's going to have a lengthy pit stop with the success penalty that comes into play with consecutive wins. Alongside him, his championship rival in the AM class, Colin Harrison. Then it's Dempsey and Hayner, Kopczynski and Sorbero. Here's the field in great alignment as they approach the start line, and already Pintos is on it. There's the green flag. What a shot. Safronis there from the second row. He grabs the second spot already. Lights flashing as push to pass is engaged. Here they come into turn 1. Safronis, the big mover on the opening lap, grabbing second overall.
Yeah, great start from Tommy. He was on the push to pass straight from the get-go there. But great from James to jump into second there. So let's see what Casey can do to try and get back and get at Tommy.
Side-by-side action momentarily. I think that was Harrison and perhaps Dempsey fighting for 4th and 5th. Great mix-up of classes there at the front of the field. A Pro Class car leads an AM Class car, then Pro, then AM. Then a couple in the Pro-Am ranks running nose to tail to complete the top 6. Under the bridge they come, through Snake and up towards the climbing S's for the first time. One of the highest speed, highest commitment sets of corners anywhere in North American road racing. Nice smooth start at the front of this field. Pintos controlling the way. We drop back a little bit. Blue car in the middle of it. That's Tom Kopczynski, who was racing here in a different series 1 week ago. And speaking with his co-driver Eric Filgaris, this has been crucial for him to unlock his comfort zone. It's a step up in performance jumping into this car from what he's been driving, but at least he feels like he knows this track and he's ready for the challenge that lies ahead. Side-by-side battle just ahead of Kopczynski here. Really good look at a couple of cars headed down Madison Avenue towards Roller Coaster, and that is James Safronis, who's now been shuffled back a couple of positions. Very interesting. After that great start, he finds himself dropping well down the order to 6th all of a sudden. Story to keep an eye on. Harrison with a really good start now on this opening lap, grabs 3rd overall, so put the Tech Sport driver to the lead in the AM class as he tries to make some headway in the championship. Pintos, Dennis. And across the line comes Harrison. Dempsey with a nice opening lap as well. He runs 4th overall, leads in the Pro-Am class. Then Safronis, who had some kind of an issue at some point there on that lap, to drop from 2nd on the road all the way down to 5th now.
Yeah, he's still hanging on there at 5th, just in front of Alex Hayner, who has a new livery on their car this weekend. They've gone for a gold and red car, which looks fantastic, and reminiscent of the Elva livery that ran recently, and has a history going back to Bruce McLaren as well. So
fitting tribute there, and yeah, you're spot on. Anytime I've seen that Elva in effectively factory colors, it is that gold, so that is really striking. Take a little while to get used to it, but Hayner and Jesse Lazar, they've had a really good season to this point in the Pro-Am class. Having a solid day here so far, 6th overall and 2nd in their class running order.
Yeah, they had a strong weekend at COTA with 2 wins there, and Alex actually became the first female winner in a McLaren since 2020, I believe, which was Mia Flewitt at Oak Park at British GT.
It's a good stat. She's been on top of her game all season long. As we take a peek in here at John Dempsey, having a strong run, the leader in Pro-Am. Plenty of sim racing, virtual racing experience for John, but this is his first season racing in the real world, and he's got a great coach in Andrew Davis to help him along. They've had a couple of strong runs, 2 runner-up results. They're 3rd in points coming in, but only 11 points back, still very much within striking distance.
Yeah, John did very well to put it on pole in class this morning, so I think he's optimistic of a good result. You say with Andrew as his teammate, they should be a strong pairing for this race and for this weekend. So
it's another car out of the RWE Motorsports stable, same team that fields Casey Dennis and James Lee, who run second overall right now. But Pintos is edging away, 3.2 seconds now, his lead over Dennis. Then it's Harrison who leads in AM, and the man trying to recover in the AM class is James Safronis. He's dropped back to fifth and suddenly finds himself in some pressure here. Here comes Alexandra Hayner in that gold livery machine.
yeah, she's closing the gap a little bit there, but as fast and flowing as this track is, I believe there's sort of only a few prime overtaking places, so I guess you've got to really get the driver lined up and ready to pounce when those opportunities present themselves.
Yeah, historically speaking, best option might be where we're approaching here, down into Oak Tree, if you're brave enough to line it up. This corner comes at you fast. Double apex, they call it turns 11 and 12. There used to be a giant oak tree right about where this picture is, in the inside of the corner, but unfortunately it was stricken by some kind of a tree disease, for lack of a better term, and had to be taken down over a decade ago. But an acorn from that tree was planted outside of the tree, so Son of Oak Tree is growing and will soon take its place. Another great passing opportunity is at the end of this. It's called Madison Avenue, about 3,000 feet in length, one of the longest full throttle sections of any track we go to this year. But it takes some bravery. It's a roller coaster where we had a problem for Tom Kopczynski, who was having a really solid outing, was running third in class, but he's gone around. Doesn't look like he's hit anything though, so he'll be able to continue on.
Yeah, he's going to rejoin back down in 11th though, behind Bob Stockard and Brendan Krutz. So yeah, he's got his work cut out to regain the ground that he's lost there.
Yeah, podium to start the season for Tom and Eric Vilgaris. Great team behind him with the Riley Motorsports operation, so successful in so many different types of racing over the years, but that's a bit of a setback for him. Back on track though, and able to continue.
Exactly. We're looking at the battle here for the lead, for second place in the AM class. It's Steve Sabero in the turquoise and yellow car, with Dennis Tierman just behind in the Dark Horse Racing Run car. Both great drivers who are now part of the Papaya Cup initiative. So this is something we've launched this weekend that will run for the rest of the season, and it's to recognise the older driver, should we say, and the driver with least or not as much experience as some of the other people racing. So it's a way of sort of recognising their achievements in the race, and there will be 2 podiums for them at the end of the race. So we will have a Pro-Am podium and an AM class podium for those.
All right now Sorbero is the best placed of those going for the Papaya Cup, just in general, but within the AM class specifically here at this stage. We do have a penalty coming from race control. Wow, this is big. The race leader was deemed to have gone before the official acceleration zone. Drive-through penalty for Tommy Pintos, who had built up a 6.4 second lead, but it is a fairly lengthy run through the pit lane, so this will cost them dearly.
Yeah, he's already lost the lead there to Casey Dennis, so where is he going to come out?
Well, looks like Harrison will come through. Dempsey's not too terribly far behind either, and indeed he does come through, as does Safronis. And Hayner was pretty close to Safronis, and she too will pick up that spot. So that's the damage done for the pole sitter, Tommy Pintos. Good thing he's had some pace in hand this weekend. He's going to need it.
Exactly. As they say, it's just got interesting.
It sure has. Let's go back to the start. We commented at the time, didn't we, that he was on it right away. Evidently, maybe a little bit too soon. Car to the left-hand side of the screen, primarily silver with the blue, black, and yellow stripe down the middle, and he was on it quickly. There is a prescribed start zone. The leader gets to determine when the start takes place, but it has to be within that zone, and my suspicion is that was deemed to have been just a little bit too soon, and consequently Pintos now has dropped from the lead of the race with 6 seconds in hand all the way down to some 20 seconds behind the leader of the race.
He's going to have to work hard to regain that time and those positions. But it was interesting to see that Casey, who was just behind or level with him, obviously didn't go at the same time, whether he was a little bit flustered, but that allowed James to come through as well. So was James in the right window as well, or did he get a little jump? We'll wait and see. But
That's a good question. Suppose, though, when you see the leader go, you're expecting the leader to set that acceleration. So maybe you could excuse James to some degree, but that's not for us to decide. So we'll let the pros handle that one.
exactly, greater minds.
Exactly, very much so. But the big news then is that it has put Casey Dennis through to the lead of the race. Winner of the first 2 races this season, 3rd in the next 2. Does, though, have a 4-point lead in the Pro-Am, in the Pro Championship coming in. So Dennis leads in Pro and leads overall. Second, of course, in the overall is your Am class leader. And then Dempsey in 3rd is the Pro-Am leader. So we've got leaders 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in their respective classes.
Yeah, we've got them nicely lined up there, haven't
It's convenient of them for us.
we? So James Sofronis now is only a couple of seconds behind John Dempsey, but has still got a decent amount to catch up to Colin there. He's 7 seconds behind. So
Yeah, that's the challenge here for James. He's got a car in between that really doesn't factor in terms of where he stands on the podium or the kind of points that are given. We saw Kopczynski with a problem earlier, but he's on a bit of a comeback drive here. Got by Kreutz just a few moments ago and now has gotten around Bob Stockard as well. Yes.
Bob is running solo this weekend. Normally he runs with his son Robbie, who had other commitments this weekend. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea to be running in probably the hottest race we're going to have all year on your own. But kudos to him for getting in there and giving it a go.
You tell me, what is the air conditioning like in one of these race cars?
I've never tried it, but it exists. It must be quite good, but I'm still thinking it's probably quite hot and sweaty there. So
yeah. Drivers and engineers are loath to turn that system on. Of course, would drain some element of power, and they hate giving that up. But on a day like today, you might have no choice in the matter. It is hot and it is humid, and 50 minutes in these conditions might not sound like much if you're sitting at home in the air conditioning, but in one of these cars, even if you do have the air conditioning up, it's chances are not going to keep you as cool as you would like to be.
I'm going to put my head out here and say that I think they're all running it, so it's a wash. I think in terms of performance, they're all making the most of the cooling benefits of the air conditioning unit in the car.
A look in at Sofronis, who really can't afford to be on the back foot relative to Harrison, because he's won those 3 straight races. His pit stop will be 15 seconds longer than the rest of the class. That's part of the success handicap that is part of the regulations of this championship. If you start to stack consecutive wins together, the amount of time you spend in the pits grows with each additional win. So after 1 win, it's 7 seconds. After 2 wins, it's 10. It's 15 seconds after 3, and it goes up to 20 after 4, or 30 seconds if you were able to put together 5 or 6 consecutive wins, which would be a difficult thing to do full stop, but especially if you're trying to overcome these success penalties.
Exactly, yeah. It's a mechanism we brought in to just try and equalize it a little bit and not prevent any runaway winners in each class, and just to try and keep it interesting for all. Tommy Pintos is really pushing and trying to close down that gap. He was just kicking up the dust a little bit on the exit of the corner as they head down the straight there. So he's gaining quite heavily on James in 4th overall. It's not going to be long before he overhauls him.
Doing a really nice job, isn't he? He just did a 150 flat. Leader ran a 51.1, so he's picking up at least a second a lap on the leader of the race. But it's a big deficit to try and overcome. That drive-through penalty for a jump start at the initial start of the race has put this car on the back foot, and Pintos doing his best to recover. Just did another really quick lap and finds himself on the doorstep of the next car in the overall order, which is James Sofronis, 2nd in the Am class.
As we were just talking about the pit stop penalties there as well, Tommy and Cooper will have a 5-second penalty to serve after their success last time at at COTA, whereas Casey and James only have a 3-second penalty. So once they've got back up to it, they're still going to have another 2 seconds drop back in the pit stop that they're going to have to try and overcome. So they really do have their work cut out in this one.
Yeah, it's a really good point. The challenges that is in store. I'm really curious how much James is going to fight here. He's a very experienced racing driver. He knows what he's here to do, which is to fight within the class, but there's always that little bit of pride that creeps in too, right? Where you never like to get past. In this case, though, it looks like it could be, well, I was going to say it might be inevitable. I'm not sure that's true. Sophronis does give just enough room for Pintos, but he's not making it easy on him, is he?
No, he's making him work for it, but I think James is smart enough to kind of go, you know what, as you say, not in the same class here. If we fight, we're probably just going to hold each other up, so let him go, and I can follow in the wheel tracks as Tommy makes the pass stick. So, yeah, can he hook onto the back of him and try and gain back on Colin, who's running second overall?
Pintos now to 4th overall. He needs to find about, 9 seconds to Harrison, and it's even more than that, of course, to the leader in his class. He's got only a couple seconds to get to Dempsey, who leads in Pro-Am, not too far up the road. Meantime, how about this charge back from Tom Kopczynski? He is now chased down Steve Sorbero.
So Steve's dropped back a place. He was in front of Dennis Tiemann when we last saw them, so he's dropped back behind Dennis and is now fending off the attention of Thomas, who, as you say, he's on a charge, he's coming back. He was on the push to pass there down the straight, so this could be a case of if, not when. Or when, not if.
Point taken. Now, for Tom, yes, it's frustrating to have the spin, but on some level, this has to be fun, to be catching and passing people at a pretty good clip. Here he comes down the pit straight. Headlights flashing, so that was a little bit of push to pass boost for Kopczynski, who slots around Sorbero and picks up another spot in the overall order. But the trouble is, he's got to get to Alexandra Hayner, the next position, for him to gain in class. And there's still quite a bit of work to do in order to get there.
Exactly. I think that was just a prime example of what we brought the push to pass element in. He was there, he gained, and it just gave him a little bit of a nudge. It's only 30 brake horsepower. It's not like a sledgehammer to your back when you put it in, but it just gives you that edge just to make the move stick. So prime example of how to make it work.
Pintos now around Dempsey as well. John saw that coming and gave plenty of room down through Oak Tree. Smart driving from Dempsey, who has a healthy lead in Pro-Am at the moment, so no reason to take any unnecessary risk. He's doing his job. He knows he's got a really solid set of hands to turn that car over to in the second stint in the form of Andrew Davis. But Pintos, the recovery drive continues. He's made up ground on track in terms of the overall position, but he's also been able to shave off about 6 seconds to the leader of the race. That was down about 20 seconds at one stage, and now it's 14 and a half.
Yeah, he's done well to close that gap. I was just looking, John Dempsey, as you say, he's got a good lead there at the top of the Pro-Am standings. Alex is next. There's a good, what are we looking at, 12-second gap, but coming back to pit stop penalties, Alex has got a 5-second penalty for their success at COTA. John and Andrew don't have a penalty to take, so that's 5 seconds gained there.
Okay. Pit stop can certainly change everything. There's another element to it too, that single driver lineups have an additional 5 seconds to spend in the pit lane relative to the 2 driver lineups. As you talked about, some drivers electing to run solo here this weekend, others as part of a 2 driver lineup. So for the 2 drivers, it's 100 seconds pit in to pit out, including the driver change. Single drivers, it's 105 seconds as James Sophronis comes through to the inside of Dempsey and picks up an overall position, though class positions changing hands. And we are approaching those pit windows in the pro class. That maximum drive time is coming up here shortly. And in the Pro-Ams, we'll expect it to be a little bit deeper, about 40 minutes into, or 30 minutes into the race, before you can get your pro in to do the final 20. Whoa, and Kopczynski loses the back end down in Oak Tree. Heads up to see the traffic coming, let it clear, and then try to rejoin. We had a lot of rain overnight, Tom, and that grass is still wet. You can see what a challenge it is just to get that car righted and back on the grippy stuff.
Yeah, he's enjoying doing a few donuts there, but it's, yeah, that's going to take some time to get back on track.
I don't know how much practice you get, you know, trying to do this rejoin from the wet grass, and it is a ton of power in these cars. You can see those rear wheels spinning around. Now he's on the pavement at least, but
nope.
It's not easy. Goes to show. And that recovery we saw from him coming a bit undone here. Oh, this is really sketchy stuff. This is in front of the leaders of the race, just tiptoeing through Casey Dennis. Great job by the corner marshals as well, waving those yellow flags to make sure that the field knows that there's a stricken car up ahead. Adjust your pace accordingly.
Now on the timing screens it's saying that Thomas has stopped, so can he get restarted there? I'm also thinking that obviously Casey was coming through there, had to check up a little bit just to give Thomas room. That will have allowed Tommy to close the gap as well, providing he wasn't held up when he came through too.
So it looks like you're right. The gap to the leader is now only 9 seconds. It was 14 the last time we checked. So Pintos is flying as we see the front runner Casey Dennis come to the pit lane. The first of these pit stops. We said it was imminent. We are close to pretty much where you need to be depending on which class that you're running in. But staying out on track is Pintos. He can do that as part of a pro class lineup. He can go about another 10 minutes here before running afoul of the drive time. Pintos working his way through traffic. This will be really important for him to turn fast laps while his opposition is stationary, and then hope that his pit stop and driver exchange is a clean one.
Exactly. He got, again, a little bit lucky because Neil Blamberg came into pit then from in front of him, as well as Colin Harrison. So the way kind of cleared to allow him to get through. So we'll keep an eye on his lap times and see how he does in closing or building as much of a lead as he can before he's got to come in and serve his pit stop penalty.
So no tire changes, no refueling. It's just the driver change, and then you are allowed to check tire pressure and bleed some air pressure from the Pirelli P0s if they're getting a bit too high. Most of these teams seem to be doing that, taking that opportunity while they can. Colin Harrison has pitted from the lead in his class. Sofronis has pitted too, so now it's just about getting in and out correct, getting the timing right for those two AM class cars that are running as solo drivers. Slengberg's car now turned over to Kevin Madsen, leaving the pit lane. But Pinto stays on track and will try to overcut those that have come into the pit lane now.
Yeah, so as you say, Kevin's taken over from Neil Lamberg in the 53 race for RP car. Kevin is no slouch of a driver. Despite his amateur driver status, he's pretty rapid. So, you know, they're rejoining in 12th, but watch out for that one. I think that car's going to be coming through the pack pretty hot.
He's one of these guys that probably won't like me saying this, quite frankly, but I think he slipped through the cracks a little bit, and I don't mean to call attention to it, but when he turns up in a big-time racing series, he tends to go pretty quickly, but so far it has managed to escape the notice of those that hand out the driver ratings, and that's to his benefit. It gives him some additional opportunities. Happy to see it for him, and now we'll watch that car come to life as he climbs aboard.
So that was Cooper Broll, just with helmet on, ready to take over from Tommy when he does come into the pits. When will that be? In the next couple of laps? That's the pro drivers they can do a maximum of half an hour in the car.
Correct.
So Tommy's only got another 3.5 minutes before he needs to pit, before gaining a penalty, which obviously he's not going to do, he says.
I think you're probably onto something. The team knows its business. Skip Barber Racing Team, very busy across multiple different series here in SRO America once again. this year. This is bad news for the erstwhile overall leaders. It's now James Lee in the car, but he's caught traffic here while Pintos is out relatively alone, turning in fast lap after fast lap. Not what James Lee wanted to see. Has to fight his way through this traffic, using that push to pass to get clear of it, and then also helped by the fact that one of the cars made its way into the pits. But that will delay him somewhat, as Pintos now has put a lap on James Safronis, who of course has made his pit stop. Pintos has not.
That could be crucial because Tommy's last lap was a 52.0. And James's last lap was a 59.3, so there's 7 seconds.
Massive.
He's gained on that one lap.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the out lap for James or no, that was
the first flyer.
Yeah,
so.
you're right. Wow. And it was only, I think, a 9-second gap coming into this pit sequence. Now, there was also the success penalty that had to be factored in, which was going to give some time back to the Lightning McLaren, I believe, but nevertheless, Pintos doing exactly what he needs to do to try and recover from that drive-through penalty for the jumped initial start.
It's certainly going to be close when Tommy does pit, which I'm guessing is going to be end of this lap maybe. We'll see how he goes.
I think he can make it, if 30 minutes is the maximum, I think he can do another if they wanted to push it. But you do take your fate into your hands a little bit there, because if you have a spin or if a yellow comes out or what have you, and you don't make it into the pit lane in time, that's on you. You had every opportunity to make that call, and the penalty would be forthcoming.
Exactly. So the smart money's on him pitting this lap, but he might want to roll the dice.
Yeah, with his pace and with the fact that they're trying to overcome a big gap from that penalty, I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and keep him out, maximize his time. But anyway, we will soon see what the team elects to do. At last lap, again, a high 152. No one else even in the ballpark, although many of those are on out laps or first flyers just getting into the rhythm. That time, James Lee came through and basically matched him. So that advantage that Pintos had vis-a-vis Lee has gone away. Maybe that factors into the decision-making process now for the Skip Barber team. We'll know soon if they're going to make that call or not. Here he comes down the pit straight, and he will follow Tom's advice.
Very few do, so I should have put money on that.
You should have. Here he comes. Pole sitter, leader of the opening few laps of the race, and fastest man on the track, not just here in this race, but all weekend long. Tommy Pintos is taken to VIR incredibly quickly, and now the crew goes to work.
They're just looking down. John Dempsey now takes over the lead of the race with Tommy in the pits. There's about a 12-second gap between John and Alex Hayner, who's still listed in the car, so they must be due a stop. Oh, in fact they are. Oh no, they've gone through, sorry. I was thinking they're going to need to stop soon to hand over to Jesse Lazaro.
Yeah, they're close, but the pros have a maximum drive time of 20 minutes, so they need to take that into account. So that's what you'll see from the Pro-Am cars here in this race. They'll run a little bit longer than the rest of the classes just because of that rule. Their official is not happy with the belts, it would appear here for Cooper Brohl. This is not a delay in the pits that this team needed. Boy, oh boy, they've been fast, but it has not been a smooth run here today.
No, they've made it difficult for themselves here, haven't they?
And here comes James Lee. He's on the push to pass. He knows what this means. This is effectively for the lead of the race when things cycle through, and it does come through to take the lead and extend it. How about that? Great execution in the pits, great laps here, quickly up to speed from James Lee, and RWE Motorsport should take control of this race once everything cycles through.
Yeah, we're going to have to give. So James has had a few laps now of getting up to speed, whereas Cooper is going to be fresh into the car. I'm going to have to get familiar and try and hunt him down, but this could be decisive for the victory in 20 minutes' time. Oh, we've got Colin Harrison stopped out there.
Oh no, this is one of the front runners in the AM class, and Colin dead stick down Madison Avenue. This is really interesting timing for the Pro-Am cars as well. If a full course yellow were to come out. Now, time spent in pit lane should not count against drive time. So in theory, they should be able to get in here, try and get in before this yellow, which could really catch them out. Kopczynski is in. That's crucial, as is Hayner. I don't know that Dempsey had the same opportunity to do so, and I do wonder if maybe race control was trying to keep this pit lane open to give the RWE team a chance to get Dempsey in, but he's got to go a whole nother lap around. That was the early section of this lap here for Dempsey. So this is really a big moment potentially, depending on how the yellow comes and if Colin Harrison's able to get started again.
Yeah, Alex has got to serve that penalty, as we mentioned before, so they're going to be in the stop for 5 seconds longer than John, but as you say, they've run that a little bit longer. Their window is open now, so will they come in soon?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes, though, it's just about where you are on the track when you enter that window, and I don't know that Dempsey was in a position where they could come in and not run afoul of drive time rules. Meanwhile, Hayner and Kopczynski were able to. We stay green for the moment. Indications are Colin Harrison is still stopped. That is costly for him in his pursuit of the AM Championship. We heard from him in the pre-race, didn't we? And he said, yeah, I don't think too much about points, but I certainly haven't forgotten about them either. And that hands the lead in class back to James Sofronis. And crucially, Harrison has dropped all the way down to 6th in class. It was pretty tight on points coming in, but this is a chance here, a big chance for Sofronis to extend that lead in a big way.
Yeah, Colin was only 6 points behind James in the championship standings, so this could be a big payday for James to take advantage of the situation.
Crucially for Dempsey, he was able to get in, and now we go full course yellow. So I do think race control was trying to give everyone the same chance and not affect the outcome of the race, with the Harrison car off to the right-hand side of the track in a relatively safe position. So we do go full course yellow now. This is interesting, though. It's not like this is not going to have some impact, because presumably the pace should drop here under full course yellow. So the time lost by being stationary for RWE here should be mitigated somewhat by the fact that those on track are not going at full song.
Exactly. They've played their cards well, haven't they?
It worked well for them, it would appear. And then it will bunch everybody back up again. Now, let's see. Remind me, was that car owing any... It was not owing any additional penalty either. Now, this could be... this was the leading car in class anyway coming into this sequence, but we'll see how it all sorts through with 18 minutes to go.
The safety car is on track as well.
Yes. Just ahead of James Lee. Broll now has been brought right back into this. This was a big break for them, wasn't it? They were down by 8.5 seconds, and all of a sudden, that's been wiped away. So Lee and Broll can duke it out for the run to the checkers.
They've had some luck today, haven't they? With the, well, some unlucky with the drive-through for the jump start, but they've managed to claw it back. Now got a safety car that will bunch the field up. If they win this race, I'd suggest they go and buy a lottery ticket soon after as well.
It's been quite a ride for them. Both sides of the fortune coin have come up at various times. It did look like Davis has taken over from Dempsey and did come out 3rd overall. That works out really nicely for them. Sofronis, despite whatever happened to him early in the going, he went from the lead in class and 2nd overall down to 5th or 6th. He's now back to 4th overall and with a fairly healthy lead in the AM class. Yeah. Another question I have is, did Kopczynski stay on the lead lap through this? Or is Eric Filgaris going to be a lap down? Because that car could come to life here in the late going if we get a restart here shortly. And if that car is on the lead lap, look out.
I think I saw them both in front of James Lee when the safety car came out. Okay, well, Kevin's actually now behind. So maybe he got him just before the safety car.
Ah, okay. Yep, so Madsen and then Filgaris, I would infer then have dropped off the lead lap. I think you're exactly right.
Looking back, can't see him then.
Well, there's the safety vehicle towing stricken car of Colin Harrison back to the paddock. It's a new car this year, so there's inherently some level of development going on as you race throughout the year, but reliability has not really been a topic of conversation at all. And these are really difficult conditions for any race car with this kind of heat and humidity here today. It's a real challenge for all involved.
Exactly. I mean, this is an Evo version of the
Right.
of the old trophy car. So, whilst it is elements of it are new, it's still a fairly solid package. Interestingly, we as we've got a safety car, we'll fill you on a few other bits. We had one of the trophy cars took part in the Nürburgring 24 with
That's
Door
right.
Motorsport. A great story because the cars are designed for the trophy championship. So it's a sprint racing car. They picked the car up I think 10 days before the race, went straight into the race and won their class.
It was amazing to see as well, because my understanding is the push-to-pass level of power was available to them
I believe so, yeah.
at pretty much all times. And I think that car had the fastest trap speeds of any car across any class in the N24 this year.
Exactly. So, yeah, it caught the attention.
It did. It did. Yeah, really impressive performance and a great showcase of the ultimate performance of this car.
Yeah, Ben Dorr was one of the drivers in the car. He's one of our factory roster of drivers. So he did the N24, and then the very next week he was at Spa for the 24 there with another one of our teams. So he's a big fan of endurance racing, is Ben.
Yeah, another one of the drivers in that car is Mike David Ortman, who is racing here this weekend as well in Pirelli GT4 America. That's another story we could talk about throughout the course of the weekend. But yeah, everybody I've talked to who's driven one of these cars has had great things to say about it. That's John Dempsey. That tells you how hot it is. It is no mean feat to drive a race car in temperatures and humidity at this level. And John puts a lot of effort into his fitness, and he'll be thankful he did on a day like today.
Exactly, yeah. It's days like today, you are very thankful, as you say, for all the work you do in the gym, though you might not think it's worth it, but when you get to a racetrack and it is this hot, yeah, it definitely makes a difference.
Some good news. We were talking about Madsen and Voulgaris perhaps being a lap down. At least Madsen got the pass around because he was between the overall leader and his class leader, and so that's allowed him to get back on the lead lap. Not sure where Eric is in the train. There he is.
Yeah,
and I see that pass around is complete, so it doesn't look like the pass around is coming his way. I think he is behind his class leader, so therefore ineligible for that pass around. But now that we're through that part of the full course yellow sequence, so we should be approaching a restart to this race before too much longer.
And the gap between first and second, half a second.
Yeah, just what we like to see.
Eric is in the pits.
Okay. Not sure what that would be about here at this stage. Well, within their window from a drive time perspective. Maybe they just want to make a little tire pressure adjustment. Oh, maybe they feel like they could have picked up a puncture or something with that off-track moment. They're taking a look at the left front. Now, smart to take care of that and just make sure. They might just go ahead and change them all around. That would make some sense. Might as well do it under the full course yellow.
Exactly. So looking at the Papaya Cup, we've got Jeff Cook, who's one of the leading drivers in that at the moment, from Steve Sabero and Bob Stockard. So that is the AM group for Papaya Cup. Car 3, which is, sorry, no, not car 3, car 18 of Kanan O'Connell and Brandon Kritz. Kanan doesn't qualify because he's a pro driver, but Brandon does. So that will be P1 in Papaya Cup for Pro-Am. think he's in a class of his own, actually, because unfortunately George Lawrence would have been in that class as well as the Pro-Am, but he's not here this weekend after yesterday's incident.
Tom Kopczynski would qualify, but as we've chronicled, they're down a lap, so that puts Brendan Kreutz in a pretty solid position.
Exactly, yeah, so, yeah, good point. So Thomas would be second in class for that one.
Yeah, there's a first time for everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Including a first time for the Papaya Cup here. And is that an initiative that we see in Europe as well?
Yes, that's actually run from the beginning of the season. I think the logic was this time, new championship, lots going on, so let's just get the basics and everyone happy with that first before introducing it now. But it's been very well received by the AM drivers as a way of recognising their efforts in these races. So yeah, it's working out so far.
Well, it's worth remembering that the AM drivers are the backbone of not just this series, but sports car racing in general by and large. There are certain classes that are factory blessed and backed, but a lot of sports car racing is propped up by the enthusiasts. So
exactly, and that's what we want to recognize.
100%. Safety car is pulled away. James Lee has the field in tow. We've got just under 10 minutes to go here in the first of 2 races this weekend, and it has closed up with Lee leading Cooper Brohl, top 2 overall, top 2 in the Pro class. Then it's the Pro-Am leader of Andrew Davis, then the Am class leader of James Safronis as the green flag waves once again. Lee with a good getaway. Brohl, though, taking off in pursuit, and here comes Davis sizing up his competition. He'll want to get a move on because Jesse Lazar looking aggressive as well. That's the gold-colored car that Alexandra Hayner started, and he's all over the back of James Safronis, who leads in his class. Oh, so many different class permutations to deal with, and look at this getaway from James Lee. Massive advantage now, and even more to his favor is the fact that Davis just got up the inside of Cooper Brohl to take second overall away.
Wow, this is going to be an interesting end to the race, isn't it?
It sure is shaping up to be. Picture perfect restart for James Lee. Could this be yet another win? It would be their 3rd of the season. They won at Sonoma, won the makeup race at Circuit of the Americas, then finished 3rd in the next 2 races. But back in a big way. Casey Dennis had a great opening stint, and here we go again with Lightning McLaren out in front. Oh, and Safronis goes into the side of Cooper Brohl, who goes for a spin. That lets Lazar through on Safronis as well. And here comes Davis at the front of the field, challenging James Lee all of a sudden. That's for the overall lead of this race. It's all kicking off now.
It's tough to know where to look. They're both on push to pass for the lead as they go down there.
These are teammates. This is 2 RWE cars, and James Lee recognizes this is not his fight. He lets Andrew Davis come through. Davis leads overall. Lee is 2nd. Lazar now is 3rd. Safronis is 4th, but that incident surely will get a look from race control.
Oh, I would have thought so, but Jesse's done well to get past there. He was right on James's tail coming over the line, so I thought he was going to be able to get him earlier in the lap, but he's now got some free air down to James, and then Andrew, who is in his class and is the overall leader and class leader, so that's his target.
That'll be big for Jesse Lazar. He and Alexandra Hayner lead the championship by 10 points coming into this weekend. We got another look at what happened down in Oak Tree Corner the last time by. Safronis was sizing up Cooper Brohl, threw it up the inside, and the 2 come together. Brohl got the worst of it. Off to the outside of the track. That's cost him dearly. Down to 9th overall after restarting 2nd.
Well, I'm glad they were able to rejoin. I was slightly concerned they might be beached on the curbing there, so great to see them at least back in the race.
And I suppose the good news is just 2 pro cars took the start, so 2nd place points are on offer regardless. And there goes the chance to at least race for the lead in the class. There he is, trying to recover. I'm sure quite frustrated, and now the official word, that incident is under review. And this could have implications for the championship because James Safronis came in with a narrow 6-point advantage in the class. He leads that class right now. That could change if he's judged to be at fault for that coming together. It could change anyway because He's got Kanan O'Connell right behind him, and not too far behind is Steve Sorbero, and that would be for position.
Well, Jeff Cook in there as well. He's also in the M class right behind
I'm sorry,
James,
you're right.
so.
Yeah, that was Jeff closing in, not Kanan. Overall leader, Andrew Davis from RWE Motorsport. The team car runs second overall, leads in the pro class. That's the red machine coming through the shot right there with James Lee behind the wheel, 2.3 seconds behind. Then we wait for the gold car. That is second in Pro-Am. And then this battle right here, which is for the lead in the AM class. James Safronis has his hands full now. Cook has arrived on the scene. Jeff Cook, best finish of the year, third in the season opener. Comes in third in points. Don't know how aggressive he'll want to be here, knowing that the car he's chasing here is under investigation right now. Also under investigation is the pit stop of the overall leader, Andrew Davis.
I hope we don't have to wait a while to find out the results of this race. I hope it's such an exciting race. We want to see it decided at the flag. But I'm just looking down the times here. Kevin Madsen's having a good couple of laps. We said to watch out for him after the pit stops, and he's gaining on this battle ever so slightly. And obviously these two here that we see on screen, James and Jeff, are sort of holding each other up a little bit as they scrap. So can Kevin come into the mix?
This is really impressive stuff here from Jeff Cook. This is the car that Dennis Tillman started. Finishes of 4th, 5th, and 5th in the triple header at Road America. And he has Safronis in the crosshairs now. He's on the push to pass down Madison Avenue. They go side by side. Safronis sweeps across the bow. He'll hang on to the position down through roller coaster now. Safronis using every bit of experience he has, trying to hang on to that spot. Looking for another win. If he were able to get it, it would be his 4th in a row. But again, incident still under review involving Safronis and Cooper Brohl, who finds himself all the way down in 9th overall after the spin at Oak Tree following contact. Davis will want to put his head down too if any kind of penalty is incoming. Mitigate that by building a margin. It's now 3.1 seconds to lead, but crucially, it's 6.5 seconds to the next car in class. We do have a ruling on the pit stop. It's a 5-second post-race time penalty. Right now, Davis would still hang on to the class win, but he would lose the overall win for what that's worth, which isn't much in terms of points or anything like that, but bragging rights.
Yeah,
to James Lee.
He's got 6.6 over Jesse Lazare, so yeah, that will just about work out.
Yeah, but Jesse will know this now, and he just did his best lap of the race. He just did his best first sector of the race, and he clawed back another 4/10. So if he can find about another second, he would be right there in the window to steal away the win with that post-race penalty factored in. Still ruling on the other incident. Here comes Cook battling with Safronis. This time he got the run out of Oak Tree. This time the push to pass was enough to power on by. So Cook takes the lead in the AM class now here in the waiting moments. Just under 2.5 minutes to go. No sense waiting around at this stage. The ruling hasn't come through, so you might as well take fate into your own hands. That's exactly what Jeff Cook has done. He now leads this race. And Safronis' troubles aren't over yet, because here's Kanan O'Connell now with him in the crosshairs.
It's certainly got on the edge of our seats for these final few minutes of this race.
Incident, responsibility, drive-through penalty for James Safronis. If there's not enough time to serve it, that gets turned into a time penalty. I don't believe we saw the white flag, so I think he will have a chance to serve it in race, which is typically advisable.
But that's going to drop him right back. So Kevin Madsen is going to move into 2nd in class. He's only 4 seconds behind, 3 seconds behind at the moment. How far will that drop him down when he serves it?
Yeah, I think based on what we saw earlier, it was roughly 26 seconds that was lost, perhaps a little bit more when we saw Tommy Pintos have to do a drive-through earlier in the going. I think that's going to put James Safronis not quite to the very back in the class, but down in 4th or 5th, quite possibly. James will put his head down now and try and mitigate the loss. But at the front of the field here, it's Andrew Davis nursing his margin. He's been able to answer the bell. The message has been delivered that he needs to build a gap over Lazar of over 5 seconds. It was down under 6 momentarily, but that's now ballooned back to 8.3. So Davis solidly with the lead in hand, and in fact, even on adjusted time now, with the lap times he's putting in, he would be quick enough to hang on for the overall lead and win of this race as well. This will be the final lap. White flag this time by. Here comes Andrew Davis. He sees the white cloth in the air. James Lee over 5 seconds behind. Davis and Dempsey looking for a victory here at VIR. Andrew Davis, the veteran from a little bit south of here in Georgia. So many years of experience. So many years as well, helping to bring newcomers to the sport like John Dempsey, who has been super impressive all year long. This car has been quick. They've had pole positions, they've had fastest laps of the race in class, but yet to win in 2025. Half a lap away from that changing now for Davis, whose lead has grown to 5.7 seconds over Lee, and most importantly to 9 seconds over Jesse Lazar. So even on adjusted time, the 5-second penalty coming the way of this pairing, it looks like a win is in their grasp for the first time here this season. Davis on the push to pass. He's not going to wait around. Final lap, working to build that advantage. Lazar just did his best first sector and still lost over 1/10 of a second. That's how quick Andrew Davis is right now, and he's not letting up. Down through roller coaster. The lead continues to grow. Davis and Dempsey, a second in the season opener. They've matched that once since in the middle race in Circuit of the Americas in the triple header there, but they'll do one better, and for the first time in 2025, Andrew Davis and John Dempsey are winners in McLaren Trophy America, not just in class, but overall as well. Here comes the team car. James Lee hangs on for a win in the pro class, and Jesse Lazar was pushing, but not close enough on adjusted time. Comes up 4.4 seconds short. They'll settle for another second place finish. It's another great result, though, for Motorsport in Action. The championship leading pairing of Alexandra Hayner and Jesse Lazar. In the M class, Cook crosses the line first. 4th overall as well. Great result for Dark Horse Racing. And a long time coming. They've been on the podium once before, but this time, the second time, it's a victory for Dennis Teoman and Jeff Cook. Well, a lot to sift through there. Let's check in and see just how much ground did James Safronis lose with that drive-through. Indeed, it did drop him down to 4th in class. If there's a silver lining, it's that gone now is the success penalty for tomorrow's race, and it crept up to 15 seconds on the strength of 3 straight wins. But unfortunately for James, his championship lead takes a sizable hit, finishing as far down as he is here in 4th place. The beneficiary is this car, this duo, Teoman and Cook. Their first win of the season. That's the team celebrating. Yes! And that's what it means to get a win here this year in the first year of McLaren Trophy America, and to tame this treacherous VIR racetrack as well. Cars coming back around on the cool down lap. Congratulations to the class winners. plenty to celebrate here, and a 1-2 overall for RWE Motorsport. Casey Dennis and his operation have plenty to celebrate here today. A look at race results from the first of 2 races here this weekend. On adjusted time, 1.8 seconds, the gap from Davis back to Lee. Winners in their respective classes, Czar and Hayner. Another strong outing for them. They've been stringing them together. Really strong effort from Motorsports in Action. Pro-Am win to Cook and Tillman, who we just saw celebrating a few moments ago, and a really great finish in terms of the overall order, too, to come home in the 4th spot. Kanan O'Connell, another strong drive on the podium in class once again, and brings that Flying Lizard car up to 5th overall in the final reckoning. Tough one to swallow for Pintos and Broll. They were on both sides of the roll of the dice here, and the way that luck broke. Started on pole, of course, had the drive-through penalty for the jump start. Then the caution brought everybody back together. Looked like they were going to be in the mix, only to get tipped around. An incident that saw James Safronis forced to serve a drive-through penalty. And while they still score second place points in class, it could have been so much more, especially with the pace that Tommy Pintos has shown all weekend long. But they'll have a chance to rebound tomorrow as they look for that first win of the season. Remarkable that it hasn't come just yet, but it does feel like that day is coming sooner rather than later. Cars back towards Parc Fermé, and for the lucky few, back to Victory Circle here at VIR, where very soon we'll have a chance to hear from them with Amanda Busick. Again, this is first of 2 races here this weekend. Upcoming races on the schedule at Road America, and then the season finale, a doubleheader at the Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, in conjunction with the Indy 8 Hour once again. Great track still to look forward to, and another outing here at VIR as well. On the docket, looking ahead to tomorrow, there's Casey Dennis coming by to share a word of congratulations with his co-driver, James Lee. Breaking through for their first win after coming up short, finishing on the podium, but not winning in the last couple. And there's the big celebration for Davis and Dempsey. By no means the first win in the career of Andrew Davis, but a monumental one in the burgeoning career of Dempsey, who has shown really strong speed in a short amount of time as he makes this transition into real-world racing. Helmet about to come off for Andrew Davis. We'll hear from him and some of the other front runners in just a little bit. There are your winners in the M class. How about that stint from Cook to make the pass on the track? He didn't need the penalty. He got that pass and the lead on merit. Let's hear from our winners now. Amanda is standing by.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations on the overall win as well as your first win in class as well. And John, the booth was talking about how your career is just growing. And how did you guys manage this the best of everyone today, especially with the penalty?
Well, you know, John just did an exceptional job. I'm so proud of him for his lack of experience. First time here at VIR, he ran exactly what to plan, and he built a gap. He was making it really easy on me until the yellow came out. Then I knew I had some hard work because I had that 43. Really wasn't going for the first overall until we were under yellow, and I realized they needed to take it. And then, yeah, they told me there was some heated exchange when I heard about the penalty, but so I had to put my head down and build a big enough gap. So luckily we were able to stay up here. So it's the best thing I did for the day, but I'm really proud of the team, Raceworks Engineering, John so much. It's just, we're so lucky. McLaren is great. This series is a lot of fun, and it's good to be on the top step here.
Thank you, guys. Ryan?
Well, fantastic result for them. Really impressive outing, and excited to see what comes next. That's it for us for Race 1. Race 2 comes up tomorrow.